Welcome back to the Buds of the Box podcast. Before we get started, make sure you guys go check out the giveaway details in the description below. All you have to do is like, comment, subscribe. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It would help us out a lot. The Leafs win 4-1 against the Winnipeg Jets, and this was actually the Leafs' first win by more than 2 goals since March 3rd against the Edmonton Oilers when they won 6-1. Before the game started, a few notes. Mikheyev was back. Adam Lowry was out from the hit from Galchenyuk, and Hellebuck was pissed because he got pulled last night. He made it Advent, and he
night before.
Yeah, sorry. Wait, night before.
Yeah, he got pulled the night before. It wasn't. You said last night.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant to say the game before. And he seemed pretty pissed. So just to keep that in mind going into this game. 40 seconds in, the Jets scored. It was kind of the opposite of what happened last time, right? The Leafs scored early last time, and now the Jets score. But luckily, Joe Thornton finally gets his goal. It got called off last game, and he finally scored tonight. It was a great wraparound, great play by Adam Brooks to recognize. He took over the D spot. He tried to get it on net. It didn't work, but they made a great play out of that, and Joe Thornton finally gets his goal. He becomes the oldest Toronto Maple Leaf to score a goal. And the last time that record was broken, or the guy who had it previously, I forget his name, but it was in 1967. And that's also happens to be the last time they won a Stanley Cup. What do you guys think about those 2 goals?
Felly?
Good answer.
You can go first.
All right. You know what? I thought in terms of Brooksy, I thought that was an awesome play. I love to see him and Sandin doing well. Craig Simpson, our arch enemy, me and Felly brought it up, and now I see the bias, but Craig Simpson he noted that the Maple Leafs are respecting their AHL players, unlike some teams. Like you can see with Anaheim, they bring maybe it was because of an ELC, but I don't know. But they bring up Zegras and then they throw him right back down like it was nothing. So, or maybe I don't know. But we're giving our players opportunities and we're giving them all kinds of chances. And honestly, those 2 guys are showing. And in terms of the Winnipeg goal, I don't know. That's just it sucks. It sucks to look 40 seconds in, but that's the only one in the next 60 minutes. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, it was a first goal on Campbell, which sucks always. But it was good for Thornton to get that long reach from behind the net, get it to go in, and Brooks made an amazing play. So
yeah, I actually thought the Winnipeg goal was actually Campbell couldn't save it. It was just a good play by the Jets, and there's nothing really you can do. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So even though I'm in pitch black, I'll move on. So I had Adam Brooks again. He was on fire tonight. I think he really fits well into that, that Thornton line. Sorry about my lighting.
Okay, it's back. You're back.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. I was just gonna say I really think he fits well into that line, and I know there's a lot of players that move out, and we always say when that player has a good game, it's kind of like Leafs media. Oh, Adam Brooks is the savior, but we're going to see how it works. Keefe is testing out players in the playoffs, and it seems that he's a good fit. He kind of revived that line. Thornton was kind of, he didn't have a point for like 20 to 28 games or 16 games or something. He didn't have a goal in 28 games, and then you put Brooks on the line, he has one within 2. So, he kind of brought that line back to life, and I just thought that was something to point out. 12 minutes in, though, Marner scores a goal off a lucky bounce, and we always complain that the Leafs never get lucky bounces. They finally get a lucky bounce, and this ends up being the game-winning goal. Muzzin dumps it in, takes a weird bounce off the glass, like the stanchion in between the glass. Yes. And it pops right out in front. Marner's not going to miss that one. So what do you guys think about that one?
Foligno gets an assist on that one too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Foligno, Muzzin, and then in. So I thought Foligno was making great passes all around. penalty killing. The entire game, Foligno was really good. Defensive zone, offensive zone. He was making good plays in the neutral zone. And he's just a really tough guy too. Like nothing seems to phase him. And I kind of compared him a little bit to a guy like Ryan O'Reilly a little bit. Like he's got grit, offensive upside, defensive awareness, and he's tough. So, you need a guy like that to win in the playoffs. So I think he's fitting in really well. This game especially fit in really well with Matthews and Marner. So, yeah. And that was just a, lucky bounce. They kept saying it on TV. Oh, lucky bounce, Craig Simpson, this guy. Lucky bounce. But, if you're in the right place at the right time, that if you're not there, that doesn't happen. So it's not so lucky if you're not, sitting there in front of the net.
Yeah, they left Marner all alone, which.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Jude, did you have any thoughts?
Well, just to touch on Foligno. I mean, he had a great defensive stick. He had a great game. He's looking good. I'm excited. I'm happy for him. And yeah, that's all.
I was more thinking you were gonna say what you texted us in the group chat about the lucky bounces.
Oh yeah. I mean, Felly kind of touched on it, so we're good there. But it's like, and I said it before. It's biased, right? They've literally to start off that game. Or sorry, the Sutter goal, that was unbelievable, and like they didn't even bat an eye towards that, right? Felly, remember that the net catches it and throws it back. They didn't bat an eye to that, and then this like, oh my God,
No,
did you see the lucky bounce?
Like, what's his name? Cuthbert will just call it hit. Like when it's the Leafs, he says, it's such a lucky bounce. Oh my God. And then if it happens to against the Leafs, he goes, that was a fortunate bounce. That was a fortunate bounce that took. That was, a good bounce in terms of the Flames or whatever. So he just says stuff like that. Stupid, but whatever. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I noticed, or actually was actually a very good positive for Sandin. He had a huge hit on Wheeler. It was kind of like Wheeler wasn't expecting it, and he kind of like jerked back into him. And I love to see that. Sandin's not the biggest guy on the ice, but he made himself big against Wheeler, and it was good to see.
Yeah. Very clean hit, by the way.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna chime in here and say, as much as Bieksa was wrong about the Hyman and Edler hit, I don't know if you guys were watching in between, but he said that that was Wheeler's fault because of reaching. Eric, kind of like what happened yesterday when we both reached for the ball, went straight into each other. He reached around him and he said he would not go into that corner if that was Radko Gudas, because we know he has 200 hits in X amount of games or something ridiculous like that. Sandin's not a big hitter, and he proved himself there. He said, "Don't underestimate me," and knocked Wheeler and made him rethink it in the dressing room clearly. But he came back. But that was kind of, I love to see that Sandin's making himself apparent in all ways, and that's huge in the playoffs.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact. Oh, go ahead, Philly.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say right after that, Kyle Connor tried to fight him.
That's what I was gonna say. The Jets are taking this way out of proportion. They're being such babies about this whole thing. Like, oh, the Leafs are a dirty team. All this media stuff. It's like they're being such babies. Like, first of all, that wasn't even a dirty hit. That was a completely clean hit. He was bracing for a hit against him. He was bracing for a hit that was going towards him. He was just helping himself out.
Yeah, well, I'll just cut you off here, and then you can go back. Wheeler is 6'5", Sandin is 5'11". I don't know. Think about that.
What you're taught to do, as soon as there's full contact in a hockey game, when you're whatever it is, like 13 years old or 14 years old or whatever it is, the first thing you learn is that you have to, if you're getting hit, you have to hit the guy back. First thing you have to do. You don't just brace for a hit. You don't just curl up and hope for the best. You have to lean back into the guy in order for that to be less of an impact. And that's all he did. He just leaned back into Wheeler. So he was just like bracing for a hit against him just to help himself out. make sure he didn't get hurt. But Wheeler flopped down like a baby once again, like the Jets have been doing. I'm not saying that, okay, Adam Lowry, obviously he's injured, but that wasn't a dirty hit by any means. All the Jets players are going after Galchenyuk, trying to run them out of the building, like Simmons said. Galchenyuk literally just put his shoulder down and hit the guy. Lowry last game. It was a clean hit, and you could hear from a Jets fan last podcast that was a clean hit.
Yeah,
he
accidental.
Admitted that was a clean accidental hit. He didn't mean to hit him in the head. It just
Lowry
happened.
was like this. Lowry was looking for the puck. Like, keep your head
look
up.
down. Yeah, keep your head up.
Yeah.
So this whole conversation that the Leafs are a dirty team is completely stupid.
Yeah, and this is exactly the point. That hit from Sandin was where the intensity just shot out like a cannon. I mean, going into the second period, I didn't really watch all of it because I was going to get some food. I heard it on the radio though. Every 2 minutes, all I heard was, "Oh, Matthew Perreault just elbowed Tavares in the face. Oh, what a late hit on Matthews!" Like, it was unbelievable. I heard the Leafs were clearly dominating. I didn't have to watch the game to know that. I could just listen to the commentary. The Leafs were dominating. Tavares even got a 4-on-4 goal. It was a nice pass from Nylander on a 2-on-1. Sniped it 7 minutes.
Beautiful play.
And Sandin
Beautiful
got the assist too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And good pass by Willie, but the Jets were just frustrated. I don't even know the exact count of how many times. Who's the TSN radio guy for the Leafs?
I mean, I don't know who you're listening to. I think it changes sometimes, but
The main
was
guy.
it Joe Bowen? Did he say Holy Mackinac a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, then it was Joe
he was
Bowen.
going nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he loves the Leafs, that guy. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, they were just trying to take the guys' heads off it, during that period. And I just, what's his name? Pierre-Luc Dubois is a complete idiot. He's such a joke.
God. I hate him.
He's such a joke. It's crazy.
Such a beam.
I can't wait to see Simmons pound his face in next game.
There was 100% a brawl if they stayed out there. Eh?
If Simmons, if his wrist is feeling okay for it, I can't wait to see him pound his face in the next game that they play. Yeah, he might not do it because of his wrist, but
yeah. Well, I just want to cut you off, Eric. Sorry guys, I'm cutting you all off. But but our power play on top of that great play by Nylander, and Sandin got the assist on Tavares' goal. I as much as I love Tavares, that was all Nylander. He started that play off. He made that defensive play on Kyle Connor, who was walking into our zone, comes around, gives it to Sandin. So give the little rook an assist on that, or the AHL kid an assist, and then a great shot by Tavares, but that should always go in. And then I also wanted to say is our power play was looking freaky.
Freaky.
I liked it. I don't know about you guys, but I just want to get your guys' opinions on it. But I thought it was good. It was what we want. Cuthbert was saying. When you look at it, we've been wanting this intensity. We've been wanting this push, this discipline on that power play. We like to pass it around the outside, wait till Matthews gets in this. Matthews was just shooting. He got that puck and he shot it because he's got that laser beam. He didn't score, but the amount of chances that came from that, there should have been. Hellebuck when he was 15 feet out of the net and he was lying down. There should have been a goal there, and we hit the crossbar. Talk about a lucky bounce right there. Remember that, Felly? I don't know if you're watching that, Eric, but talk about a lucky bounce, and our power play was just rolling that game. So sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 points for that. So on the note of you saying that our power play was freaky, I heard Craig Simpson go in the third period. He was like, "Oh, and Blake Wheeler was trying to hook up with Scheifele." So I thought that was a little bit out of date with those words, but. I thought the power play was great, and I did hear the crossbar. Joe Bowen, is that his name?
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't know Joe Bowen, man.
No, I know who he is. I don't know his name. I know the Holy Mackinac, but he said, "Oh my God, they hit off the crossbar!" It was very close. And then Sandin actually took over the power play for Riley. He was paired with Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, instead of Riley. And I mean, Sheldon Keefe was trying to send him Riley a message, but Sandin, he looked like he belonged out there, and I thought he played really well. Same with the power play.
I think Sandin was on the second unit.
Yeah,
but he stayed out there for a bit when there was a line change. But yeah, I mean the second unit with Sandin, I think Sandin's going to be a regular in the NHL by the playoffs. He should be a regular now. I think without Bogosian, I think he might even just take Dermott's spot come the playoffs. But now they've got a lot of depth, including Ben Hutton, right?
And no
Uh,
Notion, right?
yeah, so with Hutton there too, and now Sandin can hold his own in the NHL, especially offensively. I mean, he's fine defensively. I think he makes fine plays. Hole is more of a I don't know the word, but he's more of a danger to the Leafs um, in terms of
Liability.
the defensive zone. Yeah, he's more of a liability in the defensive zone underneath the goal line. I think Hole. Sandin looked solid everywhere on the ice, and he skates the puck unbelievably. He kind of just looks like a mini Morgan Riley to me right now. He looks like a Morgan Riley in the making. Obviously that's a lot to say about a rookie, but he's also learning from some of the best defensemen in the game. He's learning defensive skills from Brody. He's looking up to them. He's looking up to Riley for offensive skill. Like he's got a good guys to follow, right? Because when I was watching the Raptor game, the announcers were saying just before the Leafs game was on in this afternoon, the announcers were saying like, oh, Malachi Flynn, which is the new Raptors point guard, the rookie, that he's got Van Vliet and Lowry to look up to. Like how much better can it get than that, right? Like two leaders that are good NBA players. It's easier to develop in a league if your mentors are already established players in the league. So yeah, that's why it was probably hard for a guy like Rasmus Dahlin to come into the NHL and start doing anything because he didn't have any mentors. He's learning from coaches, but it's different to learn from another player, like a veteran, right? So
Yeah, exactly. He's having a rough time in the NHL, honestly, but he's still a good
yeah.
defenseman. Jude, I want to get your opinion on this because you have him in fantasy, but Scheifele was actually benched until the third period. He left when Tavares scored and didn't come back until like 5 minutes into the third.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. I didn't really have a set. It's not like I love him. I don't love him as a player. I love him for Team Canada. Same with Marchand. Same with all those guys. But he's just a good pickup, and I've had him for most of my years. But that's just like you said with Keefe setting an example for Riley. Even though I think that was just a line change, but that was definitely Maurice telling Scheifele something. And then on top of that, they started off the period shorthanded, so they didn't even see Scheifele there anyway, or it was something like that. But Scheifele didn't touch the ice until like 5 minutes in, so
Yeah.
it's that's setting something, and you got to do what you got to do. And it's not like they won the game after it, but maybe for the next tone we'll see Scheifele have a fire under his butt.
Yeah, well, I think it lit a fire under his ass. Even that game too. Like he came out there, he was playing really well. I mean, Kyle Connor broke up one of his opportunities, but he was probably gonna score if Kyle Connor didn't do that. Felly, did you have anything on that on Scheifele getting benched?
No, not really.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I don't really know what he did, but he deserved it.
Yeah, well, he kind of like just didn't really care when Sandin was breaking out, and he just left them and then went off the ice. And Richard or Paul Maurice was just letting them have it, and then they scored. So obviously, he was pretty pissed. But the last thing before we get into the empty netter, I want to go over, and it was probably going to be the talk of the night. Thornton and Ehlers just absolutely giving it to each other. Well, more Thornton, but geez, Thornton got went to go cross check Ehlers. He lost his stick. He got another one and then cross checked them again. They had a few words, and then Thornton went off to the penalty box. Then as soon as he got out, he gave Ehlers a big hit, and then just when the whistle blew in the offensive zone for Thornton, he just went after him. Ehlers gave him a slash right to the thigh. I thought that was, that deserved a fine too, but they're probably not going to give it to him. And then Thornton just pushed the ref out of the way and just wanted a huge piece of him. They were chirping in the box for the rest of the game. And then that sparked another thing between Simmons and Dubois. What did you guys think of all of that?
I mean, Thornton seems like a pretty contained guy. He's been in the league for 22 years, so or 21 years or whatever it is. But he's not the type of guy that, and we've watched him for 40 games, that he just goes around trying to pick fights or whatever. And they get like Ehlers had to have done something, said something to him, or said something to someone else that made him really mad. And I love that. I'd want to see that from him every game, minus the penalties. But I love that. Like that, if you know me a little bit, that's how I play hockey. Like I have a little bit of an edge in games, and sometimes it's bad. Like if you get too many penalties or whatever. But it is a bad thing. You got to control yourself in situations like that. But sometimes it's good because he obviously got under Ehlers' skin. He got a penalty too. It didn't matter at that point, but Ehlers had to have said something because you don't just do that for no reason. Thornton, he's not a mad guy like someone like Kachuk or like Marchand, right? He's not like an angry guy like Marchand or Kachuk, right? He's a pretty contained guy, like so. He probably said something pretty bad to him to get that type of reaction out of Thornton.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. That was exactly what I was gonna say. We don't see Thornton do that a lot, and just the way Ehlers was chirping, he was like that. He was like that. Oh, I'm Ehlers. I'm 20 whatever years old, and you could literally be my father. Like shut up, Ehlers. But yeah, I mean, what they displayed it wrong, but they displayed a power play in the final 2 minutes instead of the right before they changed it to 4-on-4. I was red hot there. I was like, how is that not a match penalty? I was about to lose it, and then like that was just a fail on Sportsnet. But I was gonna be very upset there. But I love this. I love the chirping of Dubois and Simmons talking to the bench, getting as close as they could to each other, and getting thrown out. That would have ended so much worse if those two weren't locked up and those two weren't sent back home. So that's playoff hockey. That's good hockey, and that's rivalry hockey, and that's what we now have with Winnipeg, whether we want it or not. So
yeah, for sure. And eventually, the Leafs scored a empty netter after that whole fiasco, whatever you want to call it. With 1 minute and 30 seconds left, Mikheyev just absolutely blows by Morrissey, and then Morrissey is forced to hook him. Mikheyev hits the post on the empty net, throws it in front. Another drive-by by Scheifele, which, I don't think Paul Maurice is going to be too happy about that. Just left Kerfoot right in front of the net, all alone. Mikheyev passes it out, and Kerfoot gets the empty netter. So, any final thoughts on that goal too?
I mean, Mikheyev's speed just really got shown there. And Morrissey got caught flat-footed. And Morrissey, he's supposedly like the best defenseman on that team, which is it's a little bit funny. But a guy like Logan Stanley, for example, has Morrissey and Pionk to look up to. You know what I mean? So and Logan Stanley did not look great that game either. So there's a little jab at Nolan Hockey Podcast there. Your big guy didn't look great that game, but it's not like he's got anyone great to look up to either. No offense, but no, I mean Mikheyev blew right by him, and who was it? Kerfoot just had an empty net to put it into.
Yeah.
And the game was over anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Sure.
But
yeah, just we'll take the extra goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that ended the streak of the Leafs not winning by more than 2 goals, and I guess that wraps it up. So thank you guys for watching on YouTube. If you did watch on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help us out. Comment your thoughts on the game, on any topic you want. We'd love to chat about it in the comments. And if you're listening on Spotify, then make sure to follow us, and we really appreciate you guys listening. So this has been the Buds in the Box podcast. Leafs win. Bye for now.